So another scenario I often find myself in is one where they just come to you with a brand. Like you may be working at a product company and they only have the brand and they have no typefaces necessarily chosen, or there's really no knowledge around typefaces and what typefaces to use. You may be working at a consultancy and a client comes in and has a brand and that's all they have. So in this scenario, what I would do is I'd really think about what that brand is like. What are the goals of the product? What are you trying to build? What platform are you on? Everything. So in our case, we have a client right here, Habitual, and it's a nice little logo. I like it. It's really fun. It's really modern. Let's zoom in here. I like the little smile over here on the bag. This typeface is Gilroy. Really nice typeface, really geometric, but it's more, I guess, used for display, and it isn't necessarily the best typeface for all types of like applications, whether that's like using it for body copy, using it for buttons, and so I'm trying to look for a typeface that is going to help us build our application. One thing I'm going to think about though is the client and the product that we're trying to build. So I need to build a product that users are going to trust. So I'm going to avoid display typefaces that may be too funky or handwriting based typefaces or script typefaces. I think I'm going to stick with something a little more modern, probably a sans serif. I want the content to be really clear. I think like we are working with users buying products or searching for products. They need to be able to read really quickly. Buttons need to be really readable and legible. Content prices, like all that kind of stuff we need to really take into account on what type of typeface is going to be really great for that. That's definitely going to be in the back of my head. One other thing is I'm working on mobile, so I don't think we necessarily need more than one typeface in this instance, especially for the type of product that we're building. So I'm probably going to stick to one, and that's totally fine. And my goal here is to pick a typeface that is really versatile, so has enough visual contrast, has enough font styles. So let's jump right into Google Fonts and I'll show you how it works. So hey, welcome. We're in Google Fonts right now, and this is a great site for getting free fonts. A variety of really high quality fonts too. So this is what I use all the time. If I don't have a paid font or I don't have a font within Figma, Figma actually there's an option for you to actually have all the Google Fonts preloaded in there. So that's great. The only thing is, this is probably a better way to test what fonts you may like and font styles. So what I usually do here is I come to this page. I may type something like, let's think of like a headline that our client may have, like find the stuff that you love. So I can already see like something like this is definitely not going to work. I'm not going to go through 993 families, which is, it's a lot. I can bump up the pixels in terms of the typefaces over here that are being displayed. I like to go into the categories, and for this instance, like I said before, I'm going to go with a sans serif. Let's just select that. So now we're down to 300 families. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think about my font properties. I want enough styles. I don't want to have just one, just because it's going to really limit us in terms of creating enough contrast on screen. So I think 6+ is fine. That may be even pushing it, but we'll figure this out. The great thing about Google Fonts is, so let's take Roboto. Roboto is like one of the most popular fonts. You'll see this on Android a bunch. So you'll see all the different font styles that they have. Be able to bring up the size, and you can even select the style. So if you want to stick to an individual style, this is great. You can also look over here and you can download them from here. You can also embed them. So if you're coding or you need to get it for your developer, like this is a great way to do that. You can even get the import code. So really great resource in order for getting all that kind of content. What I'd like to do is I don't like to get all the different styles individually. I'll just download the font in one shot. And that just makes it so much easier. If I download that, I'll see Roboto and that'll be my downloads folder, and I'll just kind of unzip that. I already have the fonts, so I don't need to do this, but I'll just unzip that and click on those fonts to add them. and then restart Figma, and it'll be right there. So I'm gonna go through a bunch of different types of typefaces over here and choose I think to choose around 5, just to give me enough variety. I'm definitely going to, I don't know if I'm going to choose Open Sans, Lato, Lato, whatever you want to call it. This is a great one. I mean, really legible. And I like the different types of variation in each letter form. So let's just bring this up. I like just kind of like the soft edges here. I think it kind of contrasts our brand just a little bit, but it's also a really clear typeface. So that's an option. So I'm going to choose Lato. So I'll just download it. Say I already have it, but I'll download that. What else is there? Let's take a look. See, Montserrat's a little too wide, and I don't like that for when you're trying to do copy because it just stretches everything out. Source Sense Pro is another great one, but I think it's a little too condensed. You'll notice that it looks a little squished. What else do we have here? Poppins is a really nice one for just being geometric, but the problem I find with this is that, let's zoom in. All these thick and thins make things a little harder to read. It's a cool file. I've used it in the past. What else do we have here? We have a lot of different types. Oh, I like Cabin a lot. I think we can use Cabin. I'm gonna pick this one, and I think there's enough right here. We may run into issues of contrast between different types of elements like headlines and body copy or buttons. I actually like Cabin a lot, so I'm just gonna pick that one up. So I'm gonna download the family just to show you that it's being downloaded and what I have thus far. What else do we have here? So Overpass is really interesting. I remember our logo had a little kind of slant. So, and I thought that was really interesting. And maybe this can match it. Maybe it can be a closer variation. So we'll pick that one up too. I like Merryweather, but I think this is too close to a sans serif with all the different types of intricacies over here, and the U, the Y. What else can we choose? Intro is a nice one. Yeah, let's take a look. And it has a lot of styles. I think this is good. I think Intro is a very safe typeface. Kind of have the vibes of kind of Helvetica a bit, just in terms of some of the letter forms. So I think this is kind of safe, but we'll bring it on board and we'll take a look after. What else? I think we should probably grab one more. I want to go for something a little bit more geometric, because I like how geometric the wordmark is for our typeface in terms of the habitual branding. I like how it's really round. Oh, there we go. So this kind of looks like Futura. Just is a really nice one too. I think we're gonna run into some issues of legibility just because if you look at the X height here, it's really small, and that's usually one of the problems of these geometric types of fonts. But I think it's something to try out. FV is really harsh too, but let's don't. So what I'll do now is I have a bunch of different typefaces down here. I will extract them from the zip folder and I will bring them into Figma and jump right into Figma and start playing around with them. Now, you don't have to limit yourself to 5. You can do a bunch. I mean, you don't want to go overboard, but make it manageable and try to think about the different types of typefaces that are going to really work with your brand in that tone, and the types of typefaces that are actually going to work for the product you're trying to build. So I'm thinking a lot about clarity. I'm thinking a lot about making sure that there is a hierarchy between different things, because if I think about the different types of content that I'm going to have to produce, there's titles for products, there's prices, there may be little pills with chips that say sale, there may be some description copy. So I mean, already in that little component, there's so many different type elements, and I need to make sure that there's enough contrast there. So I'm going to jump into Figma and start playing around with these typefaces.